much for a second quarter GDP report that has people relieved that we're picking up steam. But in the scheme of things, are we really? 2.3% is the growth rate we experienced. Now, without getting too arcane, they did revise the first quarter to a gain of 0.6%. But I want you to step back from this and realize that for the first half of the year, we are looking at roughly 1.5% growth. Now, that is better than no growth, but it is still not typical recovery growth, which is the kind of stuff that worries Greg Smith. Craig, you've been looking at this. You've been saying for a long time that it's the strength of this recovery that concerns you. But we got more confirmation of that. It's still, percolating along, but certainly not robustly. What are you worried about?
Well, it's percolating along. You stole my thunder, Neil. You averaged it the 2 quarters out, and we're growing at 1.5%.
That's just what I do. If I don't, Connell's going to come up with a chart, so I try to front run him on this. But yeah.
Well, and look, if you go back to 2012 through 2014, we grew. The Commerce Department said at 2%. Okay, so this 2.2% growth rate seems to be the norm now. And that's the lowest since any recovery since the Second World War, Neil. And here's what concerns me. Fiscal policy is not working. When will Penny Pritzker and Jack Lew sit down and say, this policy is not working, we need to change course? The Fed policy of zero interest rates are not working, Neil. It's causing...
Well, they say it is working because, well, we're not back to the races. We're certainly back off the mat. And, why don't cynics like Craig just realize that? What do you say?
They're wrong. There is so much malinvestment going on right now, Neil, as a direct result of zero-rate interest policy that you're going to see those, excuse the expression, chickens come home to roost. It's just like we did when we did, these subprime mortgages to people who couldn't afford them. This is creating distortions within the market, and that's what my concern is, Neil. My concern is if we continue to grow at this lackluster pace, and that growth is predicated on part-time workers and very low labor participation and fiscal maladies and tax problems, you're not going to see businesses have the confidence to make the investments that are necessary to grow this economy, Neil. I mean, I don't want to get too wonkish, but look at the back end of the yield curve.
We're showing next year are taking care of that, but finish that thought. I'm sorry.
Well, but look at the back end of the yield curve today. It's rallying. That tells you that they see slower growth in the future. And to quote a great guru from New York, we're the tallest midget in the room, Neil. Okay, but we should be the largest superpower economically throughout the globe. Now, just because we have a big economy doesn't mean we're the big guys on the block anymore. We need to get our fiscal house in order. And when you have Alan Greenspan come out and say, look, social spending is crippling us. It went from 15.5% in 2005 to 19.2% last year and growing. He's saying there's all your capital.
That's exactly what he's worried about. And by the way, on that note, we're going to be talking to Alan Simpson, the former co-chair of the Debt Commission, on that, because he's worried about that too. But as always, my friend, great seeing you. Thank you very, very much. Craig Smith.
Good seeing you, Neil.
Now, we preempted my buddy.